The first thing I felt was cold. Not the gentle kind that brushes your skin, but the deep, bone-biting cold that seeps into your thoughts and slows them until even remembering your own name feels optional. The second thing was pain, sharp, electric, blooming across my chest every time I tried to breathe. I opened my eyes to fire and smoke. The cockpit of my shuttle was torn open like a crushed can, jagged metal framing a sky that wasn't any sky I recognized. Twin moons hung low and crimson, their light bleeding through drifting ash. Alarms wailed weakly somewhere behind me, as if the ship itself was dying slowly and resented being alone. I tried to move. My body refused. That was when a shadow fell across me. Someone stepped into the wreckage, moving with calm precision that felt completely wrong for a crash site. A woman, tall, pale, wrapped in a cloak that shimmered like liquid starlight, knelt beside me. Her eyes glowed softly, not threatening, but ancient. She reached down and, with impossible strength, peeled the crushed metal away from my torso. Then she leaned close and whispered, almost fondly, "You're earlier than expected." Before I could ask what she meant, everything went black. I woke in a chamber of white stone and humming light. The air smelled clean, sharp, like ozone after a storm. I lay on a smooth platform, my body wrapped in translucent fabric that pulsed gently with each breath I took. The pain was gone. Completely. I sat up too fast, panic flaring, but nothing protested. Not my ribs, not my lungs, not even my head. "You should not do that yet," a familiar voice said. I turned. She stood near the far wall, hands folded behind her back. Up close, she looked almost human. 2 eyes, 2 arms, a face capable of expression, but something about her presence felt layered. Like I was seeing only the surface of something much larger. "Who are you?" I demanded. "Where am I?" She studied me for a long moment, then smiled faintly. "I am Lyriath, and you are in a place that does not yet exist in your time." That didn't help. "I was piloting a survey shuttle," I said. "Deep-range exploration. Something hit my NAV systems. I crashed." "Yes," she replied. "You were not meant to." My stomach tightened. "That's not comforting." She tilted her head. "It was not intended to be." Over the next hours or days, time felt slippery there. Lyriath explained what she could. Or perhaps what she was willing to. The world I'd crashed on wasn't a planet in the conventional sense. It was a temporal sanctuary, a structure anchored outside normal causality, built by a civilization long extinct or not yet born. "Time," she said, gesturing around us, "flows differently here. We observe it. Sometimes we intervene." "Why me?" I asked. Her gaze sharpened. "Because you are a constant." She showed me visions. Humanity spreading beyond its cradle. Colonies rising, falling. Wars that burned stars. Alliances that reshaped entire sectors of the galaxy. And threaded through all of it, again and again, was a single variable that appeared at crucial moments. Me. Not always as a hero. Sometimes as a diplomat. Sometimes a nameless engineer. Once as a prisoner. "You die many times," Lyriath said quietly. "But you always return. History bends around you." I laughed, brittle. "I'm not special. I was a nobody before this mission." "That is precisely why you matter," she replied. "You choose differently each time. And those choices echo." My hands trembled. "You said I was earlier than expected." She hesitated. "In most timelines," she admitted, "you arrive here decades from now. Older. Hardened. After the galaxy has already begun to fracture. And this time, you came before the fracture." The middle phase began with training, though she never called it that. Lyriath taught me to perceive patterns in probability, to feel when reality strained against itself. She showed me how minor actions could ripple outward, how a conversation avoided or a word spoken too late could doom millions. "You are not here to fight," she told me. "You are here to notice." I learned about her people, the Ilari, beings who had once tried to control time outright. They failed. Their empire collapsed under the weight of certainty. "So you hide instead," I said. "We observe," she corrected. "And we prepare." "For what?" She looked at me then with something like sadness. "For the moment humanity becomes the axis upon which all futures turn." That was when I understood the fear beneath her calm. Humans weren't the strongest species, or the smartest, but we adapted faster than anyone else. We made choices without perfect information. We acted on hope, stubbornness, and spite. And somehow that terrified beings who could see eternity. The fracture came sooner than expected. A future signal breached the sanctuary, an echo from decades ahead. Galactic war. A convergence event where multiple civilizations attempted to erase humanity preemptively. Lyriath's sanctuary shuddered as timelines collapsed inward. "They're accelerating," she said. "Because of you." I felt sick. "Then send me back. I'll disappear. Change something small." She shook her head. "That never works. You are not the cause. You are the response." The only option left was unthinkable. She would send me back, not to the moment I left, but to a critical junction years ahead. Armed not with weapons, but awareness. I would remember every version of myself that had failed. "You will carry the weight of futures that never were," she warned. "It will break lesser minds." "And you?" I asked. "What happens to you?" Lyriath smiled sadly. "I will remain. And wait. As I always do." The chamber filled with light as the temporal engine awakened. As my body began to dissolve into probability, I reached out and grabbed her hand. "You knew me," I said, "before I ever met you." Her fingers tightened around mine. "Yes." "Did we ever win?" She leaned close, her voice barely more than a breath. "We survived." I reappeared on the bridge of a human-alien summit station, alarms blaring, diplomats shouting as hostile fleets dropped out of hyperspace. No one noticed me stumble as 1,000 lifetimes crashed into my mind. I knew their strategies, their fears, the exact words that would push them toward annihilation or hesitation. When I spoke, the room fell silent. Not because I was powerful, but because I was certain. Years later, after the war that never quite became one, after alliances rewrote galactic law, I would sometimes wake from dreams of white stone and twin crimson moons. And I would remember her words. "You're earlier than expected." Now I understood. I wasn't early for her. I was early for the future. And for the first time in all the timeline she had seen, that future was still unwritten.